Let's get this party started. Hey, look, self-publishing and live streaming seem like two mutually exclusive things. But believe it or not, this unlikely duo that you might think, oh, it doesn't work really well together, it's actually a match made in heaven, especially these days when video seems to dominate all mental bandwidth and, of course, the bandwidth online. So we are going to be going on another little journey here. Believe it or not, we've actually been on this specific series here of self-publish and stream, brought to you by the fine folks over at Restream, where we're talking about self-publishing and live streaming. So let's get into the beautiful bean footage. And by the way, if you happen to be watching here right now, we will get to a live question and answer at the very end, but I want to give you some details on what you need to do in order to self-publish books and live stream together, in tandem, if you will. So, all right, let's go ahead. I'm going to kill this. Let's hide that. There we go. So that way everybody can kind of see what's going on and whatnot. So in any event, so this is going to be all about self-publishing a book that you can be proud of. Now, if you happen to be a live streamer, video content creator, you might be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, there's a lot of extra work. But believe it or not, I actually laid a little bit of groundwork over the past couple of weeks in this self-publish and stream series. In fact, I shared with you that on June the 11th, 2020, I actually went live on the air and I wrote this book in front of an audience here. It was a writing a book in 24 hours challenge, Write With Me Live. And essentially people tuned in to either A, write along with me, or B, just to kind of just be a fly on the wall and see how the whole process went. The funny thing is, it really turned out to be something much bigger and better than I had ever anticipated. And I published this on September the 7th. That's right, not even a mere few months later, I published this. It went on to sell 65 copies on launch day, which is pretty modest. It became a best-selling book in numerous regions throughout the world. It became a five-time award-winning book, and it's been published in ebook, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. This is kind of crazy, and this is one of the best ways that has promoted my brand in self-publishing with Dale across many avenues of social media, including places like YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. Even back when Periscope was kind of a thing, I did that across there, and it drives even more traffic. This little book, and here's the cool thing, it was pretty much free for me to upload it and publish it. So this is where you need to pay closest attention, that there's something in it for you. So stick around. We're going to be talking about the steps it takes to getting published. And of course, I want you to know that we will be talking the relevance between self-publishing and live streaming and how they work together. Here is what you viewers can expect, all right? This is the third part in a 7-part series. And this is probably the one that's going to lean heavily on self-publishing. But I promise you, if you don't get this information now, the rest will not make any sense whatsoever. So you're going to want to make sure you stick around, stay tuned. Wherever you're watching me from, we'll be doing this every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Daytime. And by the way, while you're at it, since you're watching, I want to give you a 7-day free trial of the Pro plan with Restream. Restream Pro is chef's kiss. It's the good stuff. It's the stuff that I use. In fact, I'm using it right now. You do not have to be super tech savvy or anything else like that. If you know how to open up a web browser and dial in a web page, you got a camera and you got a mic, guess what? You're ready to rock and roll. Get your Restream 7-day free trial when you go over to dalelinks.com/RestreamPro. Now, let's do a little bit of a recap. Get everybody up to speed just in case you missed the past couple of weeks. What happens during the live broadcast? What was the big deal about this? So the thing that I shared with you at the very beginning with Amazon Keywords for Books, when I wrote this book, I created the content live on the air. What you essentially are going to do is you're going to go live and you're going to write the content. Now, naturally, you're going to probably need some type of an outline or some type of an idea of what you're getting into. Plan out an event and invite people to come along for the ride. Invite viewers to either A, join, or B, follow along, which is kind of cool because then other people are creating content along with you. And it creates this sense of camaraderie and this sense of, oh gosh, belonging, a sense of community. The next step you're going to be doing, this is something we discussed this past week, which is polishing the content, because it's not enough that you took the time to write the content live in front of an audience, but now you've got to really perfect it, because just putting it out onto the market and hoping for the best is not a good strategy. You're going to need to do some in-depth editing and proofreading. Can you live stream it? Absolutely. In fact, it's kind of cool. You can actually get live viewers to contribute to this, that they can be able to tell you exactly what mistakes you're missing, or maybe give you some recommendations based on the fiction or nonfiction book that you're writing. Invite viewers again to participate and do a follow along. Some people may not want to watch you edit a manuscript, but may want to work alongside you and edit their own manuscript. The key is you're indirectly promoting your future content release. So this was a huge reason why this was somewhat successful. I dropped the ball in a couple little avenues, and it probably could have been a better launch, but I think the 2 subsequent books thereafter, I learned, oh, let's do the entire process, because it starts to indirectly promote this. So that way, when it's live and it's published, people go, oh my gosh, I was part of that experience. I got to go get that book. I want to help support this live streamer, this self-publisher. So what comes next? You wrote the stuff live in front of an audience. You edited and proofread it in front of a live audience. We got to publish that puppy. This is the part, again, we're going to lean heavily into self-publishing today. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back and relax. We're going to have some fun here, because I'm going to tell you this. It's going to like opening up a fire hose. Now, we don't want to be drinking right directly from that, but we do want to bask in the nice cool water and the hot sun. So let's go ahead and enjoy this right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk about why you need to have 4 types of books when you are publishing. The bottom line is this right here is an asset for your business, for who you are, for your brand, for you as a person, as an author, as a live streamer. This is an asset that essentially sits live on an Amazon marketplace. You can even put it to Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, so many different avenues that you can be able to publish your stuff. And it is like having free advertising. In fact, it's better than free advertising. Here's the cool thing. You're paid. You're paid every time someone buys it. What? You're advertising? When was the last time a brand put a commercial on television and was paid to do it? Typically, they probably pay for the spot, not for this. This is kind of cool. So why do we want 2 to 4 products? Now, you're probably saying to yourself, okay, what are those 2 to 4 products? I'll tell you just a second here. The bottom line is having these assets on the marketplace makes you more discoverable, and it also gives you additional free marketing. Not bad. So if you're a live streamer that's barely getting just above a goose egg for your audience, then chances are very likely this is going to be an option for you. Let's just say that you are a big live streamer. Let's say you are streaming to a ton of people. All the better, because you're creating something that your tribe can really vibe with and they want to purchase and invest in. So 2 to 4. Now, there's a reason why I say 2 to 4. Because as a bargain basement barrier of entry, I truly believe everybody needs to at least do an ebook and a paperback. Now, don't be overwhelmed, because I'm going to show you exactly just how simple it is. And no, this is not going to be a webinar. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. This is really legit. It is really simple. Now, the other 2 options, we're not going to delve much farther into, because otherwise this would turn into a 4-hour seminar. But you can look into audiobooks and hardcover books. All right. Can you share this process on the live stream? Because let's just be honest. It might be exciting for someone to watch you write your stuff. Maybe it feels like it's a good investment for your audience to chime in and help you edit the manuscript. But what about when you publish it? Yes. And I thought about this time and again, and big shout out to Grace Duffy over there at Restream. She and I kind of volleyed back and forth when it came to developing this series. And I said, this is unavoidable. We have to kind of show this process of doing this. So with that being said, I sat there and I thought to myself, I said, self, if you had the opportunity to live stream the publishing process, would you do that? I said, yes, but there's a good reason why you see my face the way it is down in the right-hand corner there. You got to hide sensitive information. So we're going to end up going over to Kindle Direct Publishing, kdp.amazon.com. It's a free account to set up. You can set it up anywhere you're at in the world. Without exception, you can be able to set up kdp.amazon.com. Okay, that's simple. You don't want people to see your login email, and you don't want to see that, have them see you writing out your password. Hide sensitive information. Avoid sharing your login at all costs. You can use Restream to live stream the process, but be very careful. So typically whenever I'm live streaming and I know I'm getting ready to go to somewhere that might have sensitive information, I'll usually pull it off screen, minimize it, get rid of the screen share. So it's just a simple thing of me going into my Restream dashboard, and I just go ahead and shut it off. Set up my sensitive information, get all through that, and then we're good to go. Pretty cool, right? All right. Hopefully you're staying here with me. And by the way, wherever you're watching from, let me know. If you're liking the 411 I'm dropping, if you got any kind of questions, fire it away, because I am paying attention to the chat. Appreciate that, folks. Thank you so much. So we've hidden the information. All right. Now that we know we can share the publishing process, and it's possible, let's talk about formatting, because it's not as simple as us putting something into a Word document or Google Docs. Is it? Well, actually, rather than complicating things, it is that simple. If you're going to do it yourself, which I know a lot of you out there are do-it-yourselfers, DIYers. Are you a DIYer? Are you the type of person that would rather do it yourself than hire out? Then this is where you're going to want to jot some notes down. Let's start it out with ebooks. If you've got Microsoft Word, Google Docs, Apple Pages, or access to one of my preferred distribution avenues of Draft to Digital. That's the number 2, Draft to Digital. You can actually go over to the link. It's inside the notes, the description here for this video here, and it's over at dalelinks.com/D2D, and it's free to set it up. It's free to publish there, but we're not going to use them just yet for publishing. You can if you wish. All we need right now to create an ebook is the doc, the docx, and an EPUB file. Don't worry about anything else. If it's a PDF, it's a little questionable. It kind of gets a little wonky when you try to upload a PDF document of some sort. If you feel overwhelmed and you're looking at your document, you're saying it doesn't look so good though, Dale, then go over to Draft to Digital. I'm going to go shortly in here in a little bit. I'm going to show you how to upload and publish over to KDP. You're going to take the same process you do on Draft to Digital, but you're going to stop short of publishing. On the third step, they will provide you with the interior that you want. And they have so many templates. All you got to do is it's just plug and play. Click on a template, boom, it formats it. It's really, really nice. Again, dalelinks.com/D2D to get yourself set up. So now we've got the ebook formatting. Super, super simple. And let me just show you, for instance. Let's go into a bit of a screen share so everyone can kind of understand where I'm coming from on this one here. Let's go into Draft to Digital, just because I want to go ahead and show you guys exactly. Okay, so here's the instances where I pull this off screen so no one sees me signing into my account and hacking my account open. Not a good thing, right? Okay, so log in, Dale. Okay, here we go. So I'm on Draft to Digital. We're going to add a new book. For now, I'll say I don't have cover art yet. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. And we're just going to call this one Test. It's not a part of a series. It doesn't have a volume number. Search terms, let's just put some general search terms. Let's say, I don't know, werebear, shapeshifter. Just pretend I'm doing a werebear shapeshifter novel. We're going to say paranormal. Romance, boom. All right, and then we can go ahead and load up as many terms as we wish to. We're going to select different BISACs. This is the category that your book is going to be assigned. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in paranormal. Let's see if paranormal pulls back something. All right, fiction. Great. Of course, it's romance. Why wouldn't it be romance? There we go. Shifters. And we're just going to go ahead and put general. Okay, we're going to start the ebook. So we're clicking on this. Now, we're going to want to upload a file right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and find any one of my books here for today's example. One of my upcoming ones. Just got it formatted by the fine folks over at Formatted Books. All right, we're just going to go ahead and use this one. Doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, so we've got our ebook description. I'm just going to kind of put in, I don't know, test. It doesn't matter to me. Put in a good description. It doesn't matter because I'm not going to plan on publishing this. We're not going to worry about collaborators or anything else. Give me a free drafted digital ISBN. That's fine. We're going to click that. Your description must be, okay, there we go. I need to make my description a little longer. Here we go. Boom. Save and continue. Okay, so this is the third step, or the second step that we're going to go through. You could put in introductory pages, but I've already got that laid out. But you could see they have things set up for you automatically. Here are the chapters that I have. It kind of quickly identifies those. So the big thing that you're going to want to pay attention to before you do upload this, that each of your chapter titles is listed as a heading 1. Heading 1. You could do that in just about any document creation software out there. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, we're going to hit save and continue. It's going to take a second here. And if you find that you have a larger manuscript, it might take just a bit longer for that process. Give it a second because obviously it needs to kind of chew on the things and figure out what's going on over here. All right. Remember the template I was telling you about? I thought I was going to skip over it, but you know what? We're live right now and I'm going to show you. So here's my book. I've got all these different templates that I can use and plug them on in. Let's say I want to do nonfiction. We can skip forward and see a better example of how each one of the pages are going to lay out. Okay, I'm going to go to the back of the top of this chapter here. We'll look at textbook. Ooh, I like that. Maybe we do a drop cap or phrase cap. We do nothing at all. There's so many things that we can be able to play with. It's endless. Look at all these different ones. Mystery thriller, class mystery, nevermore, grime, all these things. If you're a poet, they've got new poetry templates in here, which probably doesn't work for prose, but you get the idea. When I'm all set, all I'm going to do is I'm going to click download EPUB. You can download PDF, a little bit of foreshadowing for you folks, because you're going to need that for your print book. So download all 3 of these. Mobi is not used so much these days, but it's still readable on Kindle devices. So that is just how super simple it is. But nonetheless, if you just had a doc or docx, you could still be able to publish without even using the drafted digital formatting software. I just like the fact that it's plug and play. You can select what you want for the templates and it's done. Again, real quick plug, dalelinks.com/D2D. All right, so let's go up onto the next thing in our agenda here. Naturally, we got to see about formatting it for paperback. Paperback is going to be a little bit more fickle. Some of you out there might be saying, okay, how big should I make the book? How many pages should it be? Should I put pictures in there? A lot of those things, I would say, just get it all put together into your document, kind of like what we showed here. With Draft Digital, that PDF that you download, that actually will be paperback ready. And I believe it is a 6x9, which this is a 6x9. To show a comparison, this is a 5x8. See the different sizes? This is the industry standard size for publishing. A lot of people use this size to great results. So before you start saying to yourself, oh, I don't know, I want to have 8.5x11 or I want 8.5x8.5, consider 6x9 because it might be very useful for you. So you're using Drafted Digital if you wish to. Here's the next thing I'm just going to recommend. And I know it's going to probably make a few people tighten up just a little bit. Hiring out is one of my preferred ways of doing things. I could spend my time doing this, but instead I would almost rather get it to somebody else that can do it within minutes and make it look even better than a template. So interior formatting, here's one of the things I just recommend. I've used these two guys before. It's available over on Fiverr. They will do interior formatting for you. On the cheaper end of things, and I don't want to say cheaper, a more inexpensive option is Polar Bear, and I think his name is Polar Bear 15328 or something like that. But go to dalelinks.com/polarbear, drop him a direct message and tell him what you're looking for. One of my preferred and my favorite ones is Marmarco78. Marco is actually a close personal friend of mine, and he actually helped do my Amazon self-publisher series. It's stuff that you see in the background here. He handles the interior formatting for a lot of books, but he also handles my book covers. So those are typically going to range. It just depends on the size of the book and what you're going to end up having to pay. Anywhere from as low as, we'll say, $30 to as much as $300 to $1,000. It just depends. For me personally, I think it's just worthwhile. I just want to share really, really fast. Good friend of mine and live streamer extraordinaire, Ross Brand, actually did a book recently, 100 live streaming and digital media predictions. He had his interior done by Polar Bear. Polar Bear was absolutely marvelous in how he had it formatted, had a lot of pictures in it. So just trying to put it into a template was a recipe for disaster for Ross. So I said to him, look, man, you're going to need to pony up the expenses and get the interior done, so that way you're not having to stress about things. So there's the interior formatting. But now what comes next? Okay, so let's talk about the covers, because you need to have these covers. Now, there's a few ways we can kind of do things here. First and foremost, DIY. Would I recommend? No. Unless you're a book cover designer, you creating your own book cover is not a good idea. But I totally get it if you're strapped for cash and you got a type A personality and you're new to this business and you say, you know what, Dale? I think I can make a good cover. That's totally cool. Few different avenues you can take a look at. BookBrush is great. Just look up bookbrush.com. Give them a shout out. Tell them that Dale sent you on over there if you give them a shot. Canva. And there's also cover creators that are online between KDP and, oh gosh, there's another one available through Adobe. I think it's called Adobe Spark or something like that. There's a lot of online resources that are 100% free, but just keep in mind that unless you have a good eye for cover design and typography, that it's probably not going to come out as good as you would like it to. And remember, people will judge your book by its cover. So you have to make this pop. Now that I've kind of been preaching and ranting about hiring out, if you guys want to still do it on your own, that's fine. But I did warn you. Now, as far as it comes to cover design, I have 1,000,001 cover designers that I absolutely love working with. Let me just showcase a couple of them here with you guys and gals. Olivia Pro Design. She's actually another Fiverr person. That's at dalelinks.com/Olivia Pro Design. Olivia actually did some phenomenal covers, and she does really good ones with fiction. So here it is. A good friend of mine and former coaching student, Kevin Barry McGuire. He's also a best-selling author. He really topped a lot of the charts here with his very short reads, which eventually extended into full novels. But you can see, beautiful cover. Great for fiction. Well formatted. Chef's kiss. Olivia Pro Design does great, great, great work. I love her fiction stuff. Now, if you're nonfiction, though, now it's not to say you can't go to Olivia and get your nonfiction cover done with her. I just like her for fiction better. I prefer Danielle. Danielle has been a longtime favorite of mine, and her link is at dalelinks.com/dcamerlinga. You're probably saying to yourself, but Dale, I can't afford a cover. I got you. Olivia costs, starting out, $5. Danielle costs $15. If you want to get upgrades, obviously, and get additional cover iterations, it's going to cost just a little bit more. When it's all said and done, if you just went and got an ebook cover done through Olivia Pro Design, with the Fiverr fees, it's going to be about a couple bucks. So it's like $7 for a cover. It will be worth it so long as you sell, I don't know, 2 of your ebooks. It just depends on what you price your book at. And we'll cover that here in just a little bit too as well. So those are the more cost-effective one. Now, if you've got a deeper budget, I'm going to be kind of redundant here, but I'm going to say it nonetheless. Honestly, even Olivia Pro Design, her more premium gigs are still rather cost-effective. I think $25 is the most she actually charges for a very detailed cover. And then Marco. DaleLinks.com/Marco, that's M-A-R-K-O. Marco is on the premium side of things. And when I say premium, to get all 3 covers done with ebook, print book, and audiobook, and he also gives additional things like marketing and promotional assets, that actually runs, I'm just going to kind of take a nice deep breath here. It's about $800. Now, some of you probably look at me like I got 2 heads, but some of you that actually have the discretionary expense, I promise you, so worth it. I really just honestly love the work that Marco does. He did this one. He did that one. He did all of the Amazon Self-Publisher series for me. Was it a little bit higher of a premium? Yes, but his customer service is just second to none. And this was the vision I had. I gave to him and he came back with it. And it's amazing. We volleyed back and forth until we got it just right. Okay, so now we've got the cover design. What about the hardcover and audiobook? What the heck happened to that? Why didn't I talk about that? What happened with hardcover and audiobook is it gets a little bit more detail. If you end up doing a hardback, the cover tends to be a little larger. You can keep the interior the same as your paperback, but you got to change up the cover. So that's going to be a little bit more. So if you hire a designer and you want a hardcover, you're going to need to let them know that you want a hardcover done. Sadly, Kindle Direct Publishing does not have hardcover available publicly yet. They have it in a closed beta with a few choice creators on their platform. And when it comes to audiobook, you want to look into Audiobook Creation Exchange, acx.com. And it's fairly intuitive. They have whole steps to kind of walk you through the thing. You'll need to publish your ebook or paperback as a minimum before you can publish through ACX, because otherwise they won't let you do it. It's kind of a weird backwards system. And there's other ways to kind of get in there. All that to say this is it's a little bit more detailed, and unfortunately it would require an entire other live stream for me to cover this. I would just say do your due diligence, or you can even grab access to my course for beginners at DIYpublishing.biz/free. That's right. It's everybody's free. Everybody loves that cost. Okay, we got that out the way. Let's publish. So for the sake of simplicity, what we're going to do is go over here to the screen share again. We're done with Drafted Digital. Let's go over to Amazon KDP. Again, it's kdp.amazon.com. In whatever region that you might be, you'll probably do .co.uk or .br. It just depends on your region. You'll be able to find it or get a redirect of some sort. We're going to start out with the Kindle ebook. I'm going to select that. We're going to put down in the title, our title, but we're just doing this for an example. So test. All right. Add a series title if this is relevant. Next thing is, let's put in the author. So we're going to put it in here, Dale L. Roberts. All right. If I have any additional contributors, I can put it in here. Might I recommend that if you're working with an editor or an illustrator of some sort, get with them and find out if they want credit. If they want credit, you can go ahead and put that in there. In most instances, whenever I work with anybody, they don't get credit. They'll get it inside the copyright page, but beyond that, I'm not willing to put it inside my Amazon page because guess what? I'm the author. So let's go ahead back over here to the screen share. The next thing you're going to want to do is descriptions. Now, don't be too brief, but don't be too long. You want to make sure that you're breaking up your text somewhat. So thankfully, I actually have, give me just a moment here. I've got the book description. So we're just going to go ahead and copy and paste this book description. And I want you to get a good idea as to how it looks in the layout. We can click and drag this down. And you will notice it breaks up a little bit. We've got some bullet points here. And we can also go in, we can bold things out if we wish to. We could highlight this. We can format to a heading 4. We can go heading 6 if we wanted to. We can go completely buck wild on this if we want. So I'm just going to leave this as is. Looks great. Next thing is publishing rights. I own the copyright and hold the necessary publishing rights, of course. If this is public domain, that means that public domain work is stuff that's available to the public and free to distribute as they wish. In this instance, we're going to say I own the copyright. Now, if you're in the world of live streaming or in the world of self-publishing, keywords are absolutely critical to discovery. So you're going to want to make sure you take time to figure out what it is that your potential reader is going to be typing into their browser when they visit Amazon to find your book. Don't overcomplicate this process. When it comes to keywords, remember, it's more than just a single term. It's more of a phrase, if you will. Anything that's about 2, 3, maybe even 4 words long. So let me go ahead and just give you as an example. I might have a book about workouts. What type of workout is it? Well, it's a workout plan. Who is it for? For beginners. Great. Is it in the gym or is it at home? Is it in a park? No, you know what? It's a home workout plan for beginners. Great. We've got a great keyword. We're going to go through and just do the same methodology. What I recommend is do not put your title, your subtitle, or your actual name, or anybody else's names for that matter. Just do the keywords that are most relevant to your title. For the sake of simplicity, we're going to keep moving forward. You're going to select 2 categories out of here. And it's going to be tough. It might take you a few minutes to kind of get through things. But let's say today it's an autobiography. I'm just going to go with that. And, we're going to do personal memoirs. All right, so we got those selected. That's how Amazon categorizes things. Now, unless you're doing children's books, don't worry about age and grade range. This is something you can skip altogether. Today, we're ready to release the book right away. So let's just save and continue. We're almost done, by the way, here, folks. All right, first thing up is digital rights management. This is kind of a anti-piracy thing that's put in place that unfortunately puts the burden on your readers, because pirates are going to do pirates as pirates do. If they want to steal your book, they're going to steal your book, and DRM is not going to hold them back. In fact, you can probably go over on YouTube and find out exactly how to break DRM on any ebook. It's relatively easy. So just put no, because otherwise by putting yes on there, someone who buys it doesn't have the capability of sharing it with other people or to other devices or multiple devices at once. So I just would avoid that altogether. Upload the manuscript. So you remember the manuscript that we picked up over on Draft to Digital? This is where we're going to upload it, or our docx. All right. This part sometimes can take a little long, but thankfully this manuscript is a little shorter, so it shouldn't take too long. Crossing my fingers. The important thing is try to be patient when you're going through the upload process. Of course, it goes ahead and finishes. Some of this stuff is a slow burn. And if you have a long manuscript, it will take longer for KDP to process that, because what they're doing is they're taking your manuscript and formatting it so that way it can be read by a Kindle device. Let's come on back over here. Let's load up our cover. So I had a cover design done by Danielle Camerlinga. I told you guys and gals about her before. And here's her cover. Boom. Excellent. This is going to take just a moment. And like I said, we'll want to kind of make sure we buy some time. So the whole process is going to work exactly the same on paperback. But when you upload your manuscript, you want to make sure it's in PDF and your cover is also in PDF. Those things are a must. Yes, they say you can upload other things, but I'm going to tell you, it just has a crazy way of working out. And it's just better that you have it all done in PDF for paperback. All right, so let's come on over here. An error occurred. Okay, so apparently I must have uploaded the wrong file. Just for simplicity's sake, I'm hoping we could just drop this other one in. It doesn't matter what this is because we're just doing it for example's sake. It's going to take just a moment here. Hopefully it processes it. And normally, yeah, something must have happened here with the connection or something. So, all right, the next step we're going to do is Launch Previewer. And when you go into Launch Previewer, you're just wanting to kind of see what it looks like on a Kindle device. And by the way, we've got literally 3 more minutes and this book is published. And by the way, I'm not publishing. This is an example right now, but it's definitely something to consider. Preparing those files. All right, let's going to come on up over here. And let me answer a few questions before we get on here. Easy Graphics says, going to have to check out Polar Bear on Fiverr today. Absolutely, give Polar Bear a shot and let them know I sent them over towards your direction. Theanese says, hey guys, what's going on, Theanese? How you doing? Good afternoon. Over on Twitch from TX Mystery. Great to see you, TX Mystery. Thank you so much for tuning in. Where are you watching from? Let me know inside the chat. I see there's a good handful of you here. Joe Leonard VO says, I think your audio is set to internal mic and not your microphone. Okay, let's thank you for letting me know about that. No, it should be fine, my friend. You might want to refresh. It should be okay because I'm doing it from the H6. So yeah, it's on the H6. So not sure what's going on your end there, Joe. Check. Yep, I'm looking good. Abilene, Texas. Oh, nice. Hence the TX. All right, so now we've got the manuscript is finally processed through. We're going to launch that previewer. Hopefully it launches for us this time. Okay, so here's the manuscript. We can go through here. We could change the device type up here to phone if we wanted to. We want to hold it in portrait or landscape. We can go into a Kindle e-reader, landscape, portrait. Go through your whole manuscript and make sure everything looks good. If there's links in here, try out the links. Give it a shot. See if they actually work. These ones work, oddly enough. Once you're all set and you think it's good, we hit book details up the top left-hand corner. And as it goes a little bit slower here, there we go. Excellent. So this next step for Kindle ebook, ISBN, don't worry about that. If you have an ISBN and you know what it is, it's definitely pertinent to you. But otherwise, just skip this step, or you can even put your publisher name in here. So I will just put in my publisher name. Don't use my publisher name, folks. All right. This is just an example. Save and continue. All right. And we're coming to the third step. By the way, I am going to stop short because I'm not going to actually publish this test thing here. The very first thing you're going to run into is called Kdp Select. Kdp Select is it is the best way to put it. It's like a library-based system. Readers subscribe to something called Kindle Unlimited. And when they check out your ebook, you get paid for every page they read inside your book. And it's about less than ½ cent per page read. The nice thing is, being part of the Kdp Select program, you are put into this and you also get paid for it. And every checkout that you get through Kindle Unlimited kind of marks it as a sale. So it represents a sale. The only problem with Kdp Select, and this is my big gripe, is it is an exclusivity agreement, meaning that when you get your ebook enrolled into Kdp Select, it cannot be published anywhere else off of KDP. That's okay, because every 90 days, you can opt out if you wanted to, and then just jump over to wherever you wish to publish. So for this specific example, I'm going to leave it out of KDP Select. It's just not enticing to me. We're going to keep it at all territories. My primary marketplace is .com. If you are somewhere else, you can always put it there. Now, the royalty rates work differently here. 35% and 70% is what your royalty. So anytime someone buys your ebook, you're going to get paid 70% or 35%. Depends on the price. So if it's 70%, you must price your book between $2.99 and $9.99. Amazon loves it. They want to reward you for staying within that region. Anything outside of it is 35%. So for some reason, I just want to make my book available for 99 cents, and it's going to have to be 35%. However, if I decided to move that up to, say, $2.99, I can go ahead and move that to the 70% range. All right, we've got all the pricing in each one of the regions. One thing I would recommend is that you round it out to the nearest dollar just below it. So we see 222 for the Indian rupee. We're going to go ahead and say, I don't know, 2.99. Pounds, we go 2.99. 2.99. Go below that dollar, because what's going to end up happening is it has a psychological effect. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to be anecdotal. Won't be able to tell you fully where you're going to be able to find that information, but nonetheless, go right below the dollar. Don't leave it at something like, say, $4.08. That doesn't make sense. $3.99, much better. $59.99. So we're just going to go ahead and make this one $59.99. So you get the idea. We have all this. And when we hit publish your Kindle ebook, within 24 to 72 hours, KDP will process that and publish it, and it will be available. They'll send you an email, and it's ready to go. As soon as you hit the publish your Kindle ebook, they will queue you up and say, do you want to do your paperback? At that point, you do your paperback. And it'll have all the data that we put in there. The only thing you got to change is you need to have the PDF for your interior and a PDF version of your cover with the front cover, the spine, and the back cover. There is a cover creator in here that will walk you through that. If for some reason you're like, I don't want to hire out, Dale. Please don't make me hire out. Totally understand. All right. We're coming around the bend here, folks. What happens after your live broadcast? What do you do after you've written it, you've edited it, you proofread it, and you published it live on the air? Keep the video up. Okay, continue to market and promote the event after the replay. Hey, you want to go see my video where we talk about X, Y, and Z and I publish my first book? Then check it out. It's over on Facebook. Or check it out. It's over on YouTube or Twitch or any number of live streaming platforms that you've gone to. Edit the video if possible. Cut it down to just the areas that are pertinent to your audience. Give viewers a reason to join you. Maybe they want to publish alongside of you. Maybe you can explain the process to them as you're going through it. What comes after that? Well, there are other options, believe it or not, in self-publishing and live streaming. We're just getting warmed up. This is the 3rd week of 7 weeks, folks. What I would say is stay tuned for the rest of the 7-part series. This next week, we're going to be diving even deeper. I'm going to share some insights on some of the things that you can be doing, working smarter rather than harder. And that'll be every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Daytime from wherever you're watching this, YouTube, Facebook, and beyond. And folks, get yourself a 7-day free trial of the Pro membership of Restream. That's one of the things I use, and I'm using it right now. DaleLinks.com/RestreamPro. If you want to skip the 7-day free trial and you just want the free account, just go DaleLinks.com/Restream, and that will get you the free account, which has plenty of stuff available to it. All right, folks, stay tuned. More to come. Let's get to the Q&A in the live section here. Please drop any kind of questions, concerns, comments. Greg, what's going on? Great to see you. Feel like I just talked to you not too long ago. Let's go ahead and put this on down here. Ooh, okay, so here's a great tip. TX Mystery brings up a great one here. By the way, big shout out to you, TX Mystery. Using Kindle Create. Kindle Create is another form of like ebook software that Amazon makes available to you 100% free. The only issue is it's going to create files, which they're called KPT, if I can recall right. The file will only work for Amazon KDP. It won't work for anywhere else. But the beauty of it is you can upload that KPT file over to Kindle, publish it, then reach out to the KDP team and ask them to send you a copy of the EPUB file for that, because they have to make it into an EPUB file in order for it to publish. And then voila, you've got it all set. Great tip, by the way, TX Mystery. I appreciate that. Denise says, I'm from Sweden. Very good. Okay, so here we go. Easy Graphics says, I used Olivia a few times too. Great work she does. Yes, Olivia is a gem. I just honestly, I never want to tell her directly. Sorry, Olivia, if I've never said this. She's grossly underpriced. Just absolutely amazing work that she does for authors out there. Yeah, everybody, if you've never heard me talk about self-publishing, you will inevitably hear me talking about werebears. There's no reason why. I just used to get a kick out of it. Okay, so Greg Sapansky said, what font and font size do you use for a paperback? Generally speaking, you want to keep it to just nothing too fancy, because there are some fonts, if you go and you're like, oh, I found this really good font, and you download it and you go ahead and you get it all formatted with that, the issue is embedding. So what I would say is go search up KDP fonts, and you'll be able to see what fonts are accepted on there. Generally speaking, things like Times New Roman, Calibri. Gosh, there's so many, just the standard ones. Georgia, I think, is another one. Those are just fine. 12. 12 is typically the size that you want to do. Doing anything smaller than that becomes almost unreadable. And if you're looking to do large print, anything that is 16 font or larger. One of the steps that you will see in the print version as you're publishing is it says, is this large print? And at that point, you can be able to tick that off. Do not tick that unless you have large print, because you will get beat up in reviews if you do not have that set. Says, folks, likey the likey button. Yes, likey the likey button. I love that suggestion. It says, sunny day here in St. Augustine. Mojo, great to see you. It would have been a beach day, but we had to do some touch-up upstairs. Doing some painting today, so that's awesome. Any questions, please drop them inside here. So use all standard fonts. Yes, if you can. One thing I would say is when you get a font, let's say you're going over to Font Squirrel or defont.com or any of those, find out what the license is. Typically, there's a README file that comes with most fonts that you install into your computer. Find out if it is available for commercial use, because there's some fonts that do not want commercial use. And believe it or not, some of these font creators will keep an eye out for their fonts being used. And if you happen to use that, you could probably be in a little bit of hot water. That's why I just try to stay with the standard fonts and don't go too far off of that. It's honestly, don't overcomplicate it. And the issue is sometimes too, if you don't have it available for commercial use, and let's say that you export your doc over to PDF, well, that font will not embed properly. So then it's going to probably have a bunch of wingdings and doodads instead of the actual text that you would imagine, because, well, it's not available for commercial use. I get so many times that authors will approach me like, I don't understand this. It won't take my document. And I'm like, okay, they send it over to me. And I see a bunch of wingdings and doodads. And I'm like, yeah, you used a fancy font, didn't you? You're like, yeah. I used Old English. And my boy Thomas knows what I'm talking about. And I'm like, okay, Old English is not typically a font that will probably embed. I will bet you it's not available for commercial use. We looked into it, and sure enough, that was probably one of the issues. So yeah, stick with the standard fonts. Don't try to vary off that too much. If you want to vary off of that, hire out, because it becomes very messy trying to learn how to embed those fonts. Folks, we are going to start to wrap up today's broadcast. I'm just tickled to death you took a little bit of time out your day to spend a little time with me and the fine folks over at Restream. Again, get yourself a 7-day free trial to Restream Pro when you visit dalelinks.com/Restream Pro. Now I understand the error issues. See, TX Mystery, you get it. Yeah, the problem is if the font isn't working really well and you've saved it to PDF, you see the wingdings, like it's just unreadable, then you're gonna have a problem. And let's say you go, it looks fine, and then you go to upload it, and then it gets rejected. The problem is, again, now we run into a formatting issue. So maybe KDP's like, I don't know what these wingdings are. Like, they're gonna be lost. So just be very, very careful with that. Joe, thank you so much. Said, great video. You know what? On that note, Joe, my boy here from Ohio, I appreciate that. Everybody, I appreciate you taking a little bit of time with me. Again, we're going to be here next week. There's still 4 more parts in the 7-part series of Self-Publish and Stream. You're going to learn some really good tips. So make sure that you stick around and get yourself access to Restream Pro right away. In the meantime, folks, self-publish and stream like a champ. I know you got it in you. Take care, each and every single one of you.